Es ist Emmy-Zeit, einmal im Jahr. Das ist die Zeit, in der der Chefredakteur mal Moderator spielt und in die Kamera reden darf, warum man hier gerade in Los Angeles ist. Wir sind bei den Creative Arts Emmys zum ersten Mal mit DWDL. Das ist die Verleihung, genau genannt die zwei Verleihungen, vor dem eigentlichen großen TV-Spektakel am 17. September. Heute und morgen werden hier in Los Angeles in einem etwas kleineren Rahmen, aber auch im Microsoft Theater, schon ein Großteil der Preise vergeben. Das heißt, wenn Favoriten wie Saturday Night Live oder Stranger Things oder Westworld ins Rennen gehen, dann entscheidet sich schon an diesen beiden Abenden im Grunde, ob die Favoritenrolle noch zu halten ist und was nächste Woche eigentlich kaum noch zu retten sein wird in der Fernsehübertragung. Wir sind gespannt, wem wir hier am roten Teppich begegnen. Wir werden viele Autoren treffen, wir werden viele Menschen hinter den Kulissen kennenlernen und hoffentlich den einen oder anderen auch zu einem Interview bekommen.
For us, that area is kind of like walking on eggshells, being a synth composer and knowing what was kind of stylistically more a little classier from the 80s than to not go into we couldn't make it cheesy because it's very easy to fall into that.
Yeah, it's really easy to fall into the 80s cliches. And we try to do just enough to where you recognize it as something like that, but not cross that line to where it just sounds like kitsch.
It does feel like a golden age of documentaries. I think that as storytellers, we are not only happy to be working with Netflix, but to be able to have the interest that you're pointing out exists because the platform exists where so many people can not only watch a wide number of films, but the quality of filmmaking has gone up as well.
And, you know, I always say it's like the 70s in fiction film right now, where you can still break all the rules in documentary. You know, it's not a firmly set rule book, and you can do kind of whatever you want.
You describe Bart Simpson? Is he like an alter ego for you? Is he like another son for you? I mean, how do you handle this character?
No, I'm just an actress. I just do his voice, and Bart, Nelson, Ralph, Kearney, Todd, Database, Maggie. I just turn it on and turn it off, and it's great fun. I think everybody does have a little bit of Bart Simpson in them. And everybody has a little bit of Lisa Simpson. You know, it's like we are complicated individuals, and you know, lots of personality.
The show is very broad-based. It's actually hard to describe. We jump from genre to genre, style to style, old songs, new songs. The show has extraordinary flexibility. It's really very much about characters. So I would say that of all the projects that I work on, it probably has the most diverse collection of music. And I think that as long as the music is telling the story of those characters and drawing us deeper into their world, it is effective. And it's surprising. There's anything from Brazilian music to jazz to hip-hop to soul to funk to everything imaginable. It's a very, very diverse palette.
Challenge really was dealing with the costumes that were period, right? And this whole idea of going back to almost like a Puritan way. So embracing all of these new ways of life, and we created a language. We created a whole lifestyle for them. And then trying to find locations that were modern that I could put those period costumes in, including the house, which I built the house. The whole 3-story house was a construction build for me and my team. But finding exterior locations was even more difficult because of all the branding and the color palette and having to make those worlds, you know, come together.
That
that the technology has gotten to the point where you can take real cinema cameras out into a documentary setting and capture images that you used to have a big 35mm camera and crew to do. You can do that with a smaller, more intimate crew. Really, get subjects that aren't used to cameras, capture them in a way that's evocative.
Should you be thankful for Donald Trump?
No. And actually, people say that, oh, it must be so easy to do comedy in the age of Trump. He makes it incredibly difficult.
Makes it difficult to have any kind of laughter ever. So.
Yeah, it's difficult to find, when you do satire, you're usually taking something and heightening it. It's already heightened.
The rules, you have to submit yourself, which I did. I looked at the shows and I picked the one that I wanted, but then I just forgot about it. And next thing I know, Al Jean from our show, the showrunner, he was emailing me and said, "Congratulations!" And I'm like, I didn't know what he was talking about. That's how much I forgot about it. And then I said, "Oh my gosh, do you mean like the end?" Yes, you got nominated. I'm like, "Ah!"
Some shows thrive on not changing. I did 8 seasons of Monk, the Tony Shalhoub show. And that is a character who, on the very first episode, he's got OCD, and after 8 years, he's still got it. There's almost no arc in a sense. It's a beautiful kind of circle that keeps going around the same loop, and it's just the infinite variation of the same thing. House of Cards is much more like a linear novel approach. So for us, it's always the challenge to obviously preserve some remnants of where we've been, but to sort of go down the rabbit hole and discover new things. And that's what I love about doing this score, is every season, new storylines come. Like Claire Under was a great example. I mean, I feel like we're just beginning to learn who she is in season 5, and who knows what we're going to learn in season 6 about her. So, the music always has to follow the drama, follow the storytelling. So as we learn new things, it makes sense that the music sort of follows suit.
It's nice to have something that you're looking forward to every week. That's certainly what we all grew up with. So it's nice to know, oh, this is coming up on Friday nights at 9 o'clock. So I actually love that about it. It's the more traditional model. And then at the end of the year, all the episodes go on Netflix, so anybody who wants to binge it, it's there.
Say, the Western world is trying to be a very authentic, slightly polished reality. There's people that spend a lot of money to go to that park and stay there and live out their fantasies. As you go deeper in the park, it gets darker and more dangerous. In the operations center, it's a bit, futuristic and sci-fi. It's got its corporate offices that are very polished and nice. As you go down the floors, it gets very dark and dingy, and where they bring in the bodies every night and hose them down. So there's great layers to play with. So there's a lot to see there.
Deliberately didn't tone myself to the 50s. I try to find the emotional core of it and ignore where we were in the 50s or 60s. We do have some music playing in the background, or we'll have authentic music, but when the score is concerned, I really just try and go for the emotional center and ignore the 50s sound.
At some of my, the pioneers in the industry, Dawes Butler, June Foray, bless her heart, and Mel Blanc, these guys that kind of put it there for me and for a lot of people my age. age watching animation in the 60s and in the 70s and growing up with it. So in terms of another golden age, there are so many shows, whether it's on cable or internet, a lot on internet. There's so many opportunities, yeah, for people to watch. So I guess it really is kind of another golden age.
Why people binge watch, or the reason why people snack on things for so long, is because they're actually well made and they're good. So it's not just that people have short attention spans. I think that if the material is good, people will watch it.
And I think people want authenticity now. You know, we're in this era where we're being told so many different things from so many different directions, and it's hard to make sense of what's true. But I think we all have this innate feeling when something is authentic and real, and I think that that's responsible for a lot of the response to the documentaries.
I would offer you to change. You could have Angela Merkel, which is not funny at all because she's very, very dry. Would you change Angela Merkel for Donald Trump?
Absolutely. Do you know how much I would rather be discussing the points of dispute between refugee immigration into Germany than I would most of the things we have to talk about every day?
Oh, right, of golden age of television and scoring, I think, yeah, because there's a lot more creativity and people breaking out of maybe the boundaries a little bit of what's been normal or expected the last 5 years.
Yeah, I think the last 5 to 10 years, it's been nice to see people using techniques that are maybe a little bit more bizarre, more experimental than the classical orchestral score, and then even just combining that with orchestral and just weird stuff, I think is almost expected in some genres at this point to be effective with the score. So it's cool to see that.
Even that we were given the opportunity to do it.
Right, that says something.
That kind of says something in itself, yeah.
Blade Runner.
Sure.
Blade Runner and Shawshank Redemption. I like a lot of varieties of movie. I think it's almost what you feel at the time when you see something, and then you have something like Never Ending Story, Shine, I really love fantasy. I love to think outside the box and to create worlds more than anything. So those are some of my favorites.
That when great work is truly great, you'll want to see it again, which means you'll want to improve your experiences as you go. I think we mix Better Call Saul and we mix Breaking Bad for a film studio for what would be a movie theater quality. And in a way, that was limiting to some degree how it would be on television. And I know some people do watch things on their phone, but in a sense, if I watch it on my phone because I just want to catch it because I'm on a flight or I'm traveling somewhere, I know that if I really enjoy it and I really capture the beauty of that work, I'll want to watch it in a home studio. And hopefully at some point we'll be able to have these things in screenings in theaters and people can really kind of enjoy them in the full level of it.
Have you ever watched any Simpsons episodes from foreign countries? See how your character is dubbed in other languages?
Sure, it's okay. Let's just say it's not right.
Du machst mir immer alles kaputt.